crypto is like trading for dummies. Once you get used to that style of trading, when you go back to forex, that's like big boy trading. I know very few people who stayed rich from crypto. They got rich and they lost it.
Trump, he's fighting the Fed, and the Fed are kind of fighting their own battle, but don't really believe the data that we're being presented with is real to me. I don't think anything's real anymore.
I always say to people though, if what you're doing works, just keep doing what you're doing.
It doesn't matter what the market is. If you haven't got it, or you can't follow the rules, or you don't really kind of truly understand what you're doing, you are going to lose.
I honestly think for most people, you're best off not trading, you're best off just...
Today we're joined by Nick Bencino, a London-based trader of 20 years across forex, crypto, and equities. His journey began as a teenager in Australia, and he traded through multiple financial crises and developed a reputation for sharp price action insights and built a successful trading platform. He's one of the UK's leading forex and crypto trainers and has provided more than 20 years in a variety of markets, including stocks and cryptos. Nick, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How about yourself?
I'm sweet, man. I'm sweet. A little bit late for me, 8 o'clock. Just put the kids to bed. I'm over in New Zealand these days, so, it's the way it goes. So, I get...
Sorry you had to accommodate me. It's 9 a.m. here, so I'm at the perfect time. You're at a bad time. Sorry, mate. I would have stayed up at 8. I don't have kids, so if I knew.
You don't have kids?
Nah.
Well, look at you, mate. Look at you. Yeah, well, I mean, kids is part and parcel when you got a wife.
I got the wife, but she doesn't want kids, so I kind of lucked out there, to be honest. But yeah, if you told me I would have been here at 8, you could have woke up at 9, boom. But well, we're here now.
Well, there we are. Here we are. Let's talk. So yeah, I'm your side of the world. I guess you're the side of the world I was. So let's talk how you got started. I mean, that's the most interesting thing I always kind of find with traders. Everyone has got their own story. What's your story about trading? How'd you get involved?
Well, so in Australia, when you're in school, there's a class called commerce. I think it's called commerce. I can't remember now. I think it's called commerce anyway. And in our commerce class, the teacher came up with this competition, this trading competition. And it was part of this thing called the stock market game. This was years ago. This was like 20 years ago. With the stock market game, how it worked is every student in the class got $10,000, I think. And look, don't quote me on the numbers. This was 20 years ago. I can't remember the exact numbers, but 10,000 of demo money to trade the stock market with. And they got to start trading. And it was a competition. Whoever won, all that kind of stuff. So basically, that's how I started trading. I mean, I was in class. I just watched Wall Street. That pretty good movie. So I was into this whole idea of being a trader. I thought I could be a Wall Street trader. I got really into the stock market game. I absolutely smashed it. I thought I was one of the world's best traders. I was like 15 years old. And I thought I was the child prodigy because I was absolutely killing it. Turns out I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just getting lucky. But the thing is, I won the competition. So I won, I think, $1,000 if I recall. And I won an account that I could start trading with. And that's kind of where my journey started. I mean, my last 2 years of school, I was kind of just trading from school. I was trading. Instead of doing my classwork, I was in the back of the room on my laptop trading. And yeah, I just traded ever since then. Ever since 15, I've been trading. I think that was about 2001. So it's been 24 years now.
Quite some time. So when you say trading, it kind of sounds like you're trading stocks.
Back then, I was trading stocks, but I quickly got into forex because forex was this kind of like hot new thing. So after I don't know, a few years of stocks, I got into forex trading, and it was a really good move because then we hit the 2008 financial crisis, right? Forex trading just absolutely blew up in 2008. I was very fortunate. I switched from stocks to forex because of the 2008 financial crisis. The volatility that came to the forex market in 2008 was insane. So yeah, I started with stocks, moved into forex, and I chased volatility. So eventually I moved into crypto because now that's where the volatility is at.
There's certainly some volatility in crypto, that's for sure. So volatility is interesting because I trade volatility too. I'm a big trader, thousands, lots of times. So what's your kind of strategy for volatility? Because volatility is great if you're on the right side. But what happens if you get it wrong?
Oh, if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. I mean, I just like trending markets, right? If there's a big trend going, I like to trade with the trend. Whatever direction the trend is, that's where I'm primarily like, a Bitcoin right now. I'm trying to, I don't really short Bitcoin at the moment. I'm mostly looking for longs on Bitcoin because it's pumping. So I'm just looking for something that's moving fast in a single direction. And I believe that you should always just be trading whatever direction something is moving. And look, I have nothing against counter trend trading. I know a lot of people do it successfully, but for me, it's just if something's moving up really fast, go long. If something's moving down really fast, go short. And that's really all I look for in terms of volatility. I just want something that moves fast, especially altcoins these days. They're absolutely mental.
I mean, I know nothing about altcoins. I mean, maybe to explain a bit more for our viewers, because I know nothing. I'm not a crypto trader.
Right. So you got Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the granddaddy of all cryptos, right? And then you've got Ethereum, which is kind of seen as the second to Bitcoin. And that is technically an altcoin because anything that's not Bitcoin is an altcoin. But generally speaking, when people talk about altcoins, they're not really talking about Ethereum. They're talking about the lower market cap coins. So we're talking about stuff like AVAX, Solana would be an altcoin. Solana is a
Yeah,
massive
I've heard
one.
of that. I guess.
Yeah, it had a crazy trend. So what was it like 2 years ago? Solana was at $8, and then it pumped to well over $200. I think 250 was its top so far this cycle. I'm going to double check that though, because I can't remember off the top of my head. But $8 to 250. Now, talk about a trend, right? That is a massive, massive bullish trend there. That's the kind of stuff you don't see in other markets, right? You don't see something doing a 20x in other markets. That's why crypto is so exciting.
For sure, mate, for sure. But obviously, as we all know, kind of with risk and kind of reward, the opposite side. I mean, I've always looked for volatility myself, but I'm generally forex and kind of main indices, gold as well. But yeah, if you kind of get these things wrong, it's always kind of like the risk factor on the downside. But kind of it's interesting when you trace a trend. Then a trend. I mean, what's your kind of style of entry? You just one single point of entry, or take multiple positions to enter? I mean, what's your kind of view when you're trading these things? Again, I've never traded crypto, so I don't know. Like, how do you enter? What's the best way to do it in your opinion?
The thing about crypto is that it's an immature market, and I don't really understand. Well, not that I don't understand. I don't know for sure why crypto moves the way it does. Right? I'm not sure exactly why it moves the way it does, but I have a theory, and my theory is quite simple. Back in 2008, when I started really getting into forex, during the financial crisis, forex got really volatile. The forex market would move in a way where it really respected psychological levels. Like, let's say the $1 level, right, on Euro USD. Once that gets hit, turns around. Once it gets broken, it comes back down to it, treats it as support, then starts pumping again. It really respected psychological levels. Now, I'm not saying that in the forex market it doesn't respect psychological levels, but less so than it did way back then. Crypto is an immature market. And I believe that because it's an immature market and there's not much institutional traders, there's not as many algos trading it as there is with forex these days. Because it's a smaller market, especially altcoins. I'm not really talking about Bitcoin here because Bitcoin has a lot of institutional traders, especially since ETFs happened. But we're talking about altcoins, the smaller coins. They're mostly traded by people, and because they're traded by people, psychological levels are respected. Once something gets to $100, hits $100, it turns around. It breaks $100, goes above it, comes back down, touches it, starts pumping again. And that's all you need to know to trade crypto. I know it sounds crazy, but it is so simple because you could just plot out psychological levels, just your round numbers, $100, 110, 120, 130. Once something is trending, it'll break through a level, come back down, touch it, go up again. Come back down, touch the next level, up again. And it is the easiest form of trading ever. And it just takes me back to 2008 with Forex. And that's why I love it. It's like you barely have to think to trade this stuff. I mean, you still need your stop losses. You still need risk management, of course. But it is just trading for dummies. It is so simplified that now I picture myself, and I know technically I'm still young. I'm like 39, but I feel like I'm in the kind of tail end of my career. And I retired for 3 years after the 2021 crypto bull run. Then I got kind of bored of retirement and came back to trading. And I just want something easy. I don't want difficult trading. I don't want to mess too much with forex or with stocks. It's just brainless, dumb trading. You follow psychological levels. That's what crypto is.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So, I mean, how does that work with kind of liquidity then? With the kind of like smaller things like these altcoins. I mean, how do you kind of get off? You need size. You need reasonable size. I mean, again, it's how do you kind of deal with that?
Liquidity is a problem if you go to the very, very small coins, right? The smaller you go, the more liquidity becomes a problem. Some of them are just completely illiquid. So, any trade you take is going to, with size, is going to significantly impact price. So it's just kind of like a balancing act. If you're trading the smaller altcoins, you're not going to be like the smaller ones. I'm talking about stuff that's like, $1 million market cap, right? You're not trading that with size. But if you're trading it, you can make crazy returns anyway if you know what you're doing. But honestly, for most people who are new to crypto, I wouldn't recommend going that small. Like really low market cap. The liquidity sucks. You don't want to do that. You can mess around with stuff like, that's several $1 billion market cap, and there's plenty of liquidity there. Your trade's not going to affect price. Something like AVAX, ADA, Doge, XRP. Those are massive, massive cryptos, and you could trade those fine. Plenty of liquidity there.
So when you talk about trading, what kind of time frames are you talking for your trades? Because it sounds like low liquidity markets. You might have to kind of more have an investing style mentality. You might hold it for days, weeks, months, even longer. I mean, I'm a very short term trader. Like maybe 15 minutes tops. So what kind of time frames are you holding trades for?
It depends. So on the larger altcoins, like I said, BNB, Solana, AVAX, I sometimes trade the hourly chart. You could trade the 5 minute chart if you want. You could go all the way down to there, and there's no problems there. But I mostly just stick to the hourly chart. And for your very, very small altcoins, I do tend to look at kind of longer term positions. So I'll buy them on the daily chart. It's more of a kind of investing. It's not even swing trading actually. It's more like position trading that I do on the smaller altcoins. But I guess it's kind of an in between swing and position trading in terms of how long I'm holding positions. I'll trade on the daily chart. I'll sometimes hold for weeks, sometimes for months even.
But obviously, the time frame of the chart, that's kind of that I guess that's consuming to your entry. People say that, but yeah, it's interesting to kind of understand how something like these smaller coins, things I've never heard of, they have to kind of hold a longer term position, as in days, weeks, or months. Because I think a lot of people, like you said, when you talked about forex, etc., people looking for very quick returns.
Yeah, if you want quick returns from crypto, then trading with leverage on something like Solana, uh, WorldCoin, Ondo, there's so many of them. There's so many of them. Aptos. Uh, you could trade them with leverage, and you can make good returns there. But again, you have to know what you're doing. I'm making it sound too easy. I don't want to mislead people. It's not that easy. You still need to manage risk.
I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested because again, it's a market I've never been in. Again, I'm very much old school. Prop trader. From like the back in the original days of the screens. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
trade very
right.
large positions with my own money. Obviously, I use a little bit of leverage, but yeah, I make money from
No,
having money and trading big positions and getting out. But I need that liquidity. So things like these altcoins is completely new to me because, like, as I've said before, how do you get in and out if there's no liquidity?
you just want to look at CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap lists most of the cryptos in existence,
Mm,
excluding some of the really, really small coins, but you don't have to worry about those. And you just look at the market caps, right? So I'll go to CoinMarketCap right now just to give you examples. If you look at like CoinMarketCap and you look at the top cryptos right now, so the top one is obviously Bitcoin. We're talking a 2 trillion market cap. Um,
mhm,
a crypto like that has plenty of liquidity.
sure.
Ethereum has a $307 billion market cap. Loads and loads of people are trading that. Heaps of liquidity there. But then you go down to the list to maybe like, let's say the 50th crypto is called Atom, Cosmos Atom. That has a $2
Mhm.
billion market cap, right? Something with
Pretty
a $2
big, yeah.
billion market cap, there's plenty of trading going on there. Now you go down to the 100th crypto on the list. I've never heard of this one, Kea, $700 million market cap. still plenty of liquidity there. There's no problems trading something like that. So you've got like plenty to choose from before you start getting down into like the dregs of the crypto market. Like I'm looking at the 600th crypto in the world is still $42 million market cap. Plenty of liquidity there to trade with, generally speaking. I mean, liquidity and market cap are not always the same thing, right?
Yeah,
they're not the same thing, but it just kind of gives you an idea of how big this crypto is. And, generally there's liquidity, but you could also see the actual liquidity on CoinMarketCap. If you click on any of the cryptos, you can see how liquid they are and where they're traded, right? You can see all the places they're traded and how liquid they are, which generally kind of gives you an idea if it's worth trading it. So, yeah, the information's out there. You could just pick any crypto on the list and look. But anything on the top 100, there's so much liquidity on there. You don't have to worry about that. There's so many people trading it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question then. So obviously you're a crypto bull. So where's Bitcoin going to? Is it moon? Is it, who do you listen to? Is it a million and a half? Where's it going?
I don't think it's going to 1.5 million this cycle. I don't think it's going to 1 million. You know, I think maybe 200K, but I'm not the kind of guy that makes price predictions. I don't really bother with price predictions. I'm just going to trade it as long as it goes up. And when it turns around and starts going down, I'm going to start shorting it. I'm not that bothered with price predictions. And I am a crypto bull, technically speaking. But, we have to live with the reality of what the Fed's giving us. You don't fight the Fed. We're still in a period of quantitative tightening. Rate cuts, they keep getting pushed back, right? They were supposed to be in June. Now they're talking, I think, August because Powell is worried about tariffs. If we don't get rate cuts, and if we don't get an end to quantitative tightening, so we get more liquidity in the markets, I'm just not sure if anything really has much room to move significantly up from where it is now. I mean, Bitcoin right now is stuck at 110K again. This is the third time it's got to these kinds of levels where it's at the 110K resistance, and it's just struggling to get through there.
But again, it can pop just like gold. I mean, gold hit 2000 and never looked back. So anything can happen in an instant. And it's interesting, yeah, when you kind of look at the kind of the bigger macro stuff. Where does Bitcoin, in your opinion, kind of fit into the whole inflation, growth, protection? Where does it fit into your portfolio? I mean, again, I know you're not an IFA or whatever, but where do you think Bitcoin kind of fits into your average man's thinking?
I think everyone should have some Bitcoin in their portfolio. I think for most people, crypto is not something that you really need in your portfolio. And when I say crypto, I mean like the altcoins. But Bitcoin, the king of all cryptos, I think it's silly at this point not to have it in your portfolio if you have enough money to have some of the riskier assets in there. Like if you're going to hold some gold, you may as well hold some Bitcoin. Is it a hedge against inflation like people say it is? I'm not convinced about that. Yeah, I'm not convinced about that. But look, at the end of the day, if you look at a Bitcoin chart, you stick it on the monthly, you zoom out, this thing has gone up nonstop. I mean, obviously, it has pulled back, but if you look at the trend, it's been a bullish trend since 2010 or 2009, really. If you held it in 2009, if you held even just a few Bitcoin, you'd be. Let's say you held 10 Bitcoin from 2009, you'd have 1 million now, right? Is it going to go up from here? I think probably it will over the short term. Is it going to go up over the next 10 years? I'm almost 100% certain it will. Is it going to go up more than gold will over the next 10 years? I'm almost 100% sure it will. Is it going to go up more than SPX will? I'm almost 100% sure it will. So why not have it in your portfolio? I mean, if you're going to hold indices, if you're going to hold gold, you may as well get some exposure to crypto.
Well, listen, it's a balance. You have your bonds, stocks, crypto. I totally get it. I think for a lot of people like myself, I'm not a skeptic. It's just I'm a pure day trader. I'm not an investor. So it's kind of I'm happy with the movement, and yeah, I might one day jump into the kind of crypto space and trade something. But the trouble for me is, like Satoshi Nakamoto, who is it? You know, who is it? It's like Banksy. It's like who really created it. It's like I need to know some basic details for I dive in on my size. And I guess that's always been quite skeptical about these things because I didn't really kind of research it. I don't know nothing about it. But I mean, what do you think the origins of Bitcoin are? Come on, what's your theory about these things? Who made it? Who's behind it? Who is he? It, they.
I think it's just what's his name, Hal Finney. I think it's just that guy. I think it's Hal Finney. The guy everyone thinks it is. Like I'm not big into conspiracy theories or like, oh, Putin created it or Elon Musk created it. That's what some people say. I'm like, or Jack Dorsey. Yeah, Jack Dorsey from yeah. I don't believe that. I think it's just Hal Finney. The guy created it. There's plenty of evidence that he created it. He is dead now. It's likely that no one has access to his Bitcoin. Uh, but I understand you being a skeptic, right? That wallet that Hal Finney has, I can't remember if he's still the top holder. I think he might be, or maybe now that BlackRock's in and they're holding loads of Bitcoin, maybe Hal Finney's position has dropped down the list. But he's one of the top holders, or not Hal Finney, Satoshi Nakamoto, because we don't know for sure who he is. One of the top holders. Let's say some Bitcoin starts getting sold from that wallet, um, then then uh, then Bitcoin is going to. Yeah. So I understand being a skeptic, but that's why, from a day trader perspective, I don't think it matters. You're just day trading it. From an investing perspective, as with any investment, it's a risk, and there's always going to be a risk to it. So make sure that it doesn't hold a significant portion of your portfolio. One enough size in your portfolio that you would be financially damaged if it were to go to zero. And that's true with any investment, right? You don't want to.
That's just common sense. Yeah. That's common sense. Yeah. But then you obviously get the huddle, kind of like die hard to the moon. But I guess you're from Australia. So many people are relying on this as a way to get into the housing market. Like people have no other choice but to kind of look for a 10, 20, 30, 100%, as you say, X return because they have no other way to get on like the property ladder. So a lot of people are banking on this thing going to the moon, and that kind of terrifies me in some way.
Yeah, I don't think investing in something and banking on it doing a 10x is a good idea. Like it's never a good idea. I mean, especially not that's the problem with markets, and it's always been the problem with markets, right? Bitcoin was $15,000 like 2 years ago. If you bought it then, you could probably have banked on it doing maybe not a 10x, but maybe at least a 5x, something like that. But now it's at 110K almost. It's at 106K this morning, right? Now people are looking at it thinking, oh my God, this could go to a million. But it's kind of too late. If you want that 10x return, it's probably not going to go to a million in the next year, right? I could be wrong. I'd be happy if I was wrong because I hold Bitcoin. Um, so I'll be happy if I'm wrong, but you can't be buying it now hoping for a 10x. It's just not, the risk reward ratio is just way off at this point. If you buy it now, maybe 50%, maybe 100% gain, something like that.
I mean, it's like everything in trading, mate. Once you've seen the trend, it's already too late. There's plenty of opportunity. I mean, Bitcoin's been around for what, 15, 16 years, or it's been around for a long time. There's plenty of opportunity to be involved, and yeah, you completely passed me by. That was not my thing, but yeah, I know a lot of people. But actually, everyone I know that's traded it and made significant money has then gone into forex and lost it. Every
That's
one of them.
yeah,
Every one of them.
that doesn't surprise me.
And I'm
I
not
think
talking small amounts of money. I'm talking significant amounts of money. Lost it all.
so. They made money in trading crypto, and then they got
Yep,
into forex and lost it.
all of it, mate. Yeah, blew it all up.
I have a theory why that is.
Go on.
What I was saying earlier, crypto is like trading for dummies. It's just so simple that when you get used to this style of trading and you're just generating heaps of money without barely thinking, like you just need some basic TA knowledge, a bit of experience, good risk management. You need risk management. I don't want to mislead people, but once you get used to that style of trading, when you go back to forex, that's like big boy trading. You're screwed. You're screwed. You're going to lose everything. I think if I go back to forex now and use the same strategies, because I've been in crypto for God, what is it now? Like deep in crypto only for over 5 years now. If I go back to forex, I think I think I'm going to struggle. Even though I traded forex successfully for decades, for a decade and a half.
Yeah, it's definitely brutal, mate, and it's all changed. I mean, everything moves on a dime. I was just saying before the interview, I was speaking to Zoe, and yeah, I mean, like the moves now, it's all 50-50. It used to be 80% technicals, 20% fundamentals. Now it's 50-50, or now 50% Trump. He can say anything, and the markets can do exactly what he says. It's absolutely insane.
Were you trading forex in 2018? Because that's what it felt. That's what it felt like in 2018 when he was president, especially during the trade war. The previous trade war. Like whenever he spoke, it would just like pump the markets. So I don't know what it's like because I'm not trading forex right now. But is it the same as it was back then in 2018, where it's just
Yeah, I mean, it's that on steroids, mate. It's that on steroids.
really?
Yeah, but I've been trading for 20 years, like 20
Mhm.
years plus. So I've experienced a lot of things, but yeah, it's all predictable. This is the
Yeah,
problem, and he keeps telling you buy stocks, and then something happens and they go down. It's like, oh well, I've solved the war, and then I've done this trade deal, got some, trade deficits been reduced. Stocks go up. I mean, how can you argue with it? You
yeah.
can't beat him. You can't beat him.
No,
He's
he
just too
he
skilled at it.
he is a master of market manipulation. I'm not sure if you've seen what his sons are doing to the crypto market.
I
Uh,
really haven't, because again, it's not my space. Tell us what they're
uh,
doing.
his sons. Trump owns several cryptos, right? He owns Trump Coin, which is a meme coin, which
Yeah.
I haven't been tracking the price of that thing,
But
but
what's a meme coin? What does that mean? It means
a meme coin is basically a coin with no utility. And honestly, almost everything in crypto is a meme coin, really, because none of the utility in crypto is real, with very few exceptions. It's all fake utility. Like they'll say, "Oh, this coin does this," and they'll say blockchain needs to be used for this, but it doesn't. It doesn't really. It's all bullshit. Crypto is mostly a bullshit industry. But people like to pretend some coins have utility and some coins they don't have utility. They're just coins that are built on community, right? And those are meme coins. They don't have a use. It just exists, and people buy it because it exists and because it makes them part of the community. That's essentially what a meme coin is, right? And Trump released a meme coin. It's a coin with absolutely no utility, no use. You just buy it if you're a fan of Trump, or if you want to speculate, of course. Uh, and this thing on release, it went up to several $1 billion market cap. Like it was absolutely crazy. And I'm looking up the numbers right now.
well, that after he was elected, didn't it go up? And he made 4 billion personally, so he says. And he turned around to Jeff Bezos and like kind of all that lot, and said, "Well, that's nothing to these guys." He was asked by the reporter, "Is that real? Is that how much money he generated?" I mean, I just don't know.
I don't think he generated 4 billion. He could have,
Right,
but he generated hundreds of millions. That much I know.
significant money, right? Okay,
Yeah, he generated hundreds of millions from it, just
okay,
from all the fees, and he's still the biggest holder of it. I can't remember the exact
really,
numbers, but I think he holds about 80% of the supply.
okay.
So, and right now it's valued at $1.8 billion market cap. No, sorry,
Wow,
my bad. It's valued at $2.83 billion market cap,
wow,
uh, which which is insane.
yeah,
So he owns 80% of that. But like again, he can't just sell 80% and cash out. If he
of
starts selling,
course, yeah,
it's gonna dump. So
of course, yeah.
so on paper, he has 80% of 2.83 billion. And look, don't quote me on these numbers. I can't remember if it's exactly 80%, but he owns a lot of the supply.
I'm the same. I'm the same. It's just another headline, just like that's flashed through because there's so much these days. Like literally everything's a headline every 2 minutes, isn't it? It's like this world changing things, and especially like Trump and Trump coin. He kind of went away. Then there was obviously something else. Yeah,
It
it's just
came
really
back
interesting.
because he said he's going to have dinner with the top 100, I think, holders or something. So that
Something
made
like
it
that,
pump
yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that did it like there's a Melania coin, and
Yeah. His wife released a coin
yeah.
which pumped and dumped. All of these just pumped and dumped. And that's the danger with crypto. You know, at its peak, Trump coin was worth $45. Now it's worth $14. But at its
Right.
low, I think it went down to about $10. I'm not sure if that's the exact numbers. That's what I'm looking at on CoinMarketCap right now. So, but the point is, it pumped, it dumped, and now it's kind of like worth half of what it was at its peak. So, if anyone bought at the top, they're down 50%. And you don't really get that with traditional markets. I mean, you're not going to buy SPX and be down 50%.
No
Well, I mean, you
point.
could be technically, but when's the last time SPX dumped 50%? I think it's been.
Well, we had a pretty brutal drop, didn't we, before? But yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting to me because it's again, as I say, I'm a pure day trader, so I'm not really bothered where things go. I'm happy to be involved in movement, but there's this whole idea of these meme coins and altcoins, and yeah, I've just never been attracted to that kind of market. Yeah, but it's really kind of opened my eyes. I might give it a go. Might give it a go.
Don't you feel like SPX and DX are starting to feel a bit like crypto? I mean, the last few months they've been moving like crazy. Just like these crazy swings that are akin to maybe not the lower cap, well, definitely not the lower cap coins, but they're akin to how Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two biggest cryptos, move. It's absolutely mental. I mean, I think you can get plenty of action just trading SPX these days. You don't really need crypto.
I mean, you literally can. You literally can. I mean, the thing is, again, the way I trade, very short kind of periods of time. I'm a big scalper, but I would sit and watch it, mate. I'd just rather not be involved. The volatility to me is even too much for me to take. It's just kind of like I'll just watch it. I'll just watch it rather than get involved. I mean, the thing is, you've got to stick to what you know. I mean, it's like I'm not new to this game, but the thing is, I knew if I was wrong. I mean, you're getting carted, mate. You're getting literally getting wiped out. So it's kind of once it's over, it's over. But that seems to be rippling through, like you said, to things like gold. Gold's become extremely volatile, and I don't really kind of know how this is all going to end. Interest rates have to come down. We're rolling over what 6 trillion worth of debt pretty soon. Something big has got to give at some point, but we're not getting any clues. Like Trump is like he's fighting the Fed, and the Fed are kind of fighting their own battle. But I don't really believe if the data that we're being presented with is real. To be honest, I don't think anything's real anymore. I think it's all manipulated to kind of do a narrative that the rich win and everyone that just makes money doing it by, I think, luck. That's why, I was interested in this kind of crypto. You said just trade it. If it's moving, buy it up. If it's going down, sell it. That's what I like because you're right. Any more thought than that, you're going to drive yourself crazy because nothing kind of really, truly makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I love about crypto. It's simple trading. You need the experience, but someone like you've got 20 years experience. Like you could look at a crypto chart, plot a few levels, and you're good to go. It'll be like you're saying that trading is getting the markets are changing, right? Crypto is like going back in time in terms of how it moves. It moves like forex used to move 20 years ago, or whatever. It just moves different. And if you just go back to that simple form of trading like you used to do at the start of your career, you could be successful in crypto. It's worth. If I always say to people though, look, if what you're doing works, just keep doing what you're doing. There's no point changing stuff. Like,
That's why I hate people that chase the next big thing. I'm not a chaser. I'm good. I'm established in what I know, so I trade what I know. So it's like go to crypto. It's like, well, why would I do that? Because I don't know it. I don't understand it. Then you're saying it's like how forex used to be, but then also it's kind of like, well, like you said, if it isn't broke, don't try and fix it. Listen, I'm all about anyone can make money the way they want. I don't care. Things go up, things go down. Some people are in the limelight. You shine, you make your money. I don't care. Everyone can make money the way they want to. But it'd be interesting to kind of like see from your perspective, because I know from my perspective of kind of like traders. I'm a been a professional trader for a long time, but I've also mentored retail traders. A lot of them fail. So it's kind of like it doesn't matter what the market is. If you haven't got it, or you can't follow the rules, or you don't really kind of truly understand what you're doing, you are going to lose. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
do you think there's a better edge in crypto, or do you think it's the same as forex? I'm kind of interested. What do you think? Is it no different, or is there a better edge? Because you say it's a little more simple about forex is crypto's like forex used to be, so it's a bit more kind of maybe there's some more edge there. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to
I don't
like
think
pick
so.
through what you said. No, you don't think so.
I don't think there's more edge. I think at the end of the day, the edge comes from the trader, right? The charts can be as simple as they are. You could give someone a chart that moves up only, and I'm convinced people will still find a way to screw it up. Like I think it's just that at the end of the day, people they sabotage themselves in trading. And I know it's a bit cliche, but you're your own worst enemy, right? And psychologically, trading is very difficult. And I believe yeah, I believe there's no real difference in edge. You need to know what you're doing still. The chart could look simple, but you could screw simple things up if you're not managing your risk. If psychologically you just don't have it, right? You're still going to screw it up.
Wrote a book in it, mate. Wrote a book in it. It is. You're exactly right there, mate. It is something inside you. That belief, that feeling. You can't teach it. You can kind of gain it, but you've either got it or can get it, or you can't. If you don't have it,
I used to
you're
think you
never going to
could
make it.
teach it. I used to think you could
Mm.
teach it. I
I
was
think you can kind of,
convinced, but
instill it in people, but I don't think you can teach it. You can instill it in people. You got to do it yourself, though. I don't think you can
hmm,
teach it.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
don't know. That's just my point. I mean, what do I know? What do I know?
I've just seen so many people try trading and they just mess it up. I honestly think for most people, you're best off not trading. You're best off just holding. Like, just buy something and hold. Like Warren Buffett does, right? He's one of the richest people on the planet, one of the most successful people on the planet. And all he ever did, I mean, I'm simplifying it a bit, but this is his thesis. It's buy companies that are undervalued and hold them forever, right? Uh, that's what he does. Yeah, he doesn't try to time the market. He doesn't trade. He's just a guy that buys and holds, and he's incredibly successful. Uh, I think for most people, that's what they should be doing. They should just be buying, buy a bit of SPX, buy some stocks, some tech stocks if you want, buy some Bitcoin, uh, build a portfolio, hold it. Uh, Trading is difficult. It's, it's difficult. It's stressful.
It is stressful, mate. It is stressful. Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think, yeah, trading isn't for everybody, but everyone wants this kind of idea that the get rich quick thing. Like I've met one guy, maybe two, that did that, and I know lots of traders. It does happen. It does happen. But what are the chances of your average guy on the street doing it? Very
I
slim.
know a lot of people in crypto who got rich quick because you could buy crypto and it could do 1,000x return. I'm not sure if it can still do that these days, but like back in 2021, I mean, I had a few cryptos that did 1,000x return in 2021. It was a mental time to be in the markets, but most of those people, like you said, the ones that went to forex, they just lose it all, right? They make 1,000x return. They'll have like a million, 2 million, sometimes more than that. Then they'll try to replicate that by putting it in another crypto, another crypto, another crypto. But those 1,000x return cryptos, you're probably going to get like in 2021, you might have got two in the whole bull run, and we're talking thousands of cryptos, tens of thousands of cryptos being released. So if you were very, very lucky, you might have got two in the bull run, in the peak euphoria of the bull run. This bull run, there's been a few thousand X's. I haven't got any of them. Is what it is. But the point is, people always look at, oh, that guy got the 1,000x return. He's rich. But how much money did he lose to get that 1,000x return? Right? He might have started with 100K, and went down to like $100 and then got 1,000x from the $100. And after he got that 1,000x return, how much money has he lost trying to get the next 1,000x? And the other thing with the 1,000x's that people don't understand is they see that number, but almost no one, unless you're kind of dumb, like let's be honest, actually got a 1,000x return. They bought a crypto that went to a 1,000x, but they've surely taken profit along the way, right? I mean, I don't think there's not many people who would hold something, see it do a 1,000x over like a month.
A massive cojones, yeah.
So they don't actually walk away with, they put in 1,000, they got $1 million, right? They've drawn out money and they end up with, you know, maybe 100K overall. I mean, look, $1,000 to 100K is still crazy, but most of these people end up losing it. Yeah, that's just the unfortunate truth. I know very few people who stayed rich from crypto, right? They got rich and they lost it.
That's just the same as trading in general. Like making money is generally easy. Keeping hold of it. So it doesn't matter the asset class, does it? Keeping hold of it is a mindset thing. And again, as you rightly said, you know, replicating some of these things, doesn't matter if it's crypto, forex, whatever, you know, it doesn't come along very often. It really doesn't. But that's interesting again, because like, you know, again, I would love to get involved in crypto. I just cannot bring myself. It almost seems like I'm the old school kind of trader, you know, like I've traded the DAX for years and this kind of stuff. I just don't feel like I can move across that crypto space. But then the way you describe it makes me think,
I don't know, man. I'd say
you told me. You've almost told me. I'm on the line, man. I'm on the line here. I'm on the line.
Test it with a little bit of money. Just chuck a little bit of money in.
But then the thing is, I can't do little. That's the thing. I'm a big boy.
Right.
I'm a big boy trader, so like I don't do. But yeah, interesting. No, it's interesting. I might, yeah. Interesting. No, it's been a really good interview because it's made me actually really has piqued my interest. It's interesting the way you've described it.
Don't test it with a little bit of money. Open up a chart. Open up Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Solana, and I'm going to give you
maybe you can mentor me. We'll go into it. We'll go into it 50-50, mate. 100 grand a pop.
Sure, if you want. Aptos. Aptos is the fifth one. I think I told you 5.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 5. Okay,
Aptos. Yeah. Right, that's the fifth one. Open up. Whatever strategy you use, draw it up on the charts.
Yep.
Don't take any actual trades. Just say, oh, I would have gone long here. I would have gone short here. See how it works out. Right. See if you don't even have to do that. Just place lines on the charts, look back and see if it would have been easy for you. Maybe your strategy doesn't translate to crypto. I don't know. Maybe it does. I think you might be surprised at how simple this market is.
But this is why I love talking to other traders, because this is it. It doesn't matter what I do. You know, this might resonate with somebody else. You know, it's kind of trading doesn't have to be difficult. It is just lines on a chart. The market will do whatever it's going to do with or without you. And I think the older you get, the more you trade, you kind of get stuck into this idea that, you know what you do because you've earned it. But like the market's going to move. So like if there's new markets, there's new opportunities. I think people like me, a little bit stuck in the ways, don't want to get involved in something new because it requires a new form of thinking.
I'm a techie. I love tech. I love new stuff. So that's what attracted me to crypto. Because it was new tech. I really believed in the whole, financial revolution of crypto. I'm not sure if I do anymore. The deeper I got into this industry, the more I started to realize that it's 99% a scam. And it's a scam in the sense that a lot of these cryptos, they say that they have an actual use case. They say that, they're going to revolutionize the world. But, for the most part, there's no real use case there. They're not better than banks. Maybe one day they will be. Sure. People in crypto are going to hate me for saying this, but maybe one day they will be. But to buy a crypto, to actually buy it, not to trade it, to actually buy it, if you're not going to do so through an exchange, which you should never do because exchanges can collapse, and then if they collapse, just like if a broker collapses, then you might lose your money and you have to, go through bankruptcy. You might get it back through the bankruptcy proceedings, but it's all a mess, right? So you want to hold your own crypto in a wallet, right? And if you're going to do that, then you need a 12-word key phrase or a seed phrase or a 24-word seed phrase. Whatever type of wallet you have has a different seed phrase, right? So that's a bunch of words written on a piece of paper.
Right.
And that's your account. That's your essentially your bank account. If you lose that, your crypto's gone forever. There's no way you can recover it.
Really? Is
So
that the same as this cold storage thing I've heard about, or is that something
yeah,
else?
yeah. So that would be a cold storage wallet. You have a little wallet. You have a seed phrase, and that seed phrase is your all your money is in that seed phrase, right? If that seed phrase is lost, it's gone. It's gone forever. And someone who's techie, someone who understands these things, they'll have multiple backups. They'll put it in a bank somewhere. They'll put like a safety deposit box, something like that. Whatever. However they choose to manage it, they manage it. But when we're talking about millions of people around the world, are they really going to put their life savings in this 12-word seed phrase and be trusted to be able to manage it and to not lose this little slip of paper where they've written the seed phrase on? You know how people are there, and it's not even people. It's sometimes like you write down the seed phrase, you stick it in your drawer, your house burns down,
Of course, yeah, of course.
your money's gone.
Yeah.
You need to think about, okay, I need to put this on 10 different pieces of paper and I need to distribute these pieces of paper like in my friend's house. But then can you trust your friend not to take your seed phrase? It's a very complicated thing. And I just don't see this kind of tech revolutionizing the world the way it is right now. It's too complicated. That doesn't even scratch the surface of how complicated it is. I mean, that's just seed phrases. I could go on and on and on about the complexity of crypto, and I just like trading it. I just like trading
Listen,
it.
that's all we need to. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, we can talk about, Bitcoin being decentralized and like being the answer to everything from inflation to kind of money. But yeah, if you're just a trader, it's just another asset to trade. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
stick to what you enjoy, stick to what kind of, I guess, makes you money. I mean, if it's the answer to everything, so be it. It doesn't really matter, does it?
No. I think it's a great asset class to trade because, in my opinion, it's simple to trade it. Is it going to revolutionize the world? If it does, awesome, because I hold it. If it doesn't, whatever. I don't care. But trading it, easy.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I might give it a go. I might after this. I might give it a go. I'm genuinely interested because you're right. The way you've kind of been open and honest about it is that yeah, I kind of get it now. I kind of get it because I've just stayed away from it because mainly for me, most things with liquidity. Yeah, no, I get it. No, interesting. Really, really
There's
interesting.
plenty
That's
of
why I love doing
liquidity in
these
the
things.
crypto market.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
plenty of
You're right.
liquidity.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you've explained it really well. That's really interesting. Is there anything else you want to kind of what's on your radar for the rest of the year? What do you think? You worried about the debt rolling over? What that's going to do to crypto? Do you think Trump's going to make the strategic reserve the thing, and everyone's going to pile into Bitcoin? I mean, again, they're all macro, big kind of fundamental things. But what are you looking out for the rest of the year? What do you think's going to happen?
I am genuinely concerned about liquidity in the markets, like in general. I mean, like global liquidity, right? Because you said earlier the Fed needs to cut rates, and they have to at some point, but they just keep pushing it back. They keep pushing it back. I think I said earlier it was meant to be in June. Now I think the chances of rate cuts in June are down to like 8%. And I think the next meeting after that is July 30th or something like that. And they're saying that that's probably not going to happen. So now we're talking about like rate cuts being pushed back again, and quantitative tightening. Is that going to end? They were saying it's going to end in June. Probably not, right? I mean, they've reduced the rate of QT, but it's still happening. And I mean, they've reduced the rate. They could increase the rate again, right? So I'm just worried that we're going to get into this situation where the Fed is too scared to cut rates because they don't know what the impact of tariffs is going to be, and rate cuts are just going to come too late. A lot of the world is cutting rates already. Canada, I believe, ended QT a few months ago, and they've been cutting rates. A lot of the world's cutting rates. America's just holding off, and until monetary policy changes in the US, I think there's going to be a liquidity problem in the markets. And I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong. Like looking at SPX today, over the last few weeks, it's almost at all-time highs again. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to pop through all-time highs and just like go on a tear.
But you can't keep everyone happy, mate. You can't keep everyone happy. You can't have stock markets at record highs. You can't have yields at record highs. You can't have debt at record highs. Something's going to break. It's simple as that. Something's going to break.
I'm afraid it's going to be the markets. And look, if it is trading wise, we'll be fine. But I just think it's going to hurt a lot of people, and that's my biggest fear of the markets right now. I think it's going to hurt a lot of people because a lot of people are banking on Bitcoin going to 200K. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think if these all-time highs don't break in the next few weeks, so I'm talking about SPX making a new all-time high, NDX, Bitcoin. If these all-time highs don't break in the next few weeks, now that we're close to testing them, I think the market's going to roll over, and I think we're going to have a pretty crappy summer. And historically speaking, in a post-election year, April and May are historically very bullish months. I think if you look at SPX, every single post-election May has been bullish for the last 35 years. 35 years, so that's like the last 10 elections, I believe. You know what? I got told I could share my screen, so I'm just going to share something real quick. I'm having a developer build out a website that has a lot of data on it. This is going to be one of the things that's going to be on the website. And we could see that SPX, post-election years returns, right? Every single May has been bullish. So this is in post-election years. You got 2021, 2017, 2013, 2009, so on. Every single May has been bullish. So historically, and I don't put too much stock in seasonality and historical stuff because we know, the world changes, markets change. But it is always interesting for me to look at this stuff. So SPX, every single May has been bullish, and this one looks like it's probably going to close bullish since 1989. And I only had data going back to 1989. Otherwise, I would have went back further. But then the Junes, they start to get 50-50. And especially on the NASDAQ, June tends to be a bit of a pullback month, right?
Yeah.
In post-election years. So I'm starting to think that, and it's not just this. This is one of the many factors that I'm looking at. But seasonality-wise, June tends to be kind of like a 50-50 month. Markets have pumped. I really think if we don't get that break of all-time highs, we might be in trouble. Yeah. So I've just got the all-time high here marked on SPX. I'm repeating myself here, but I need to see this break soon. I think give it like 3 or 4 weeks. If it doesn't, I think we're going to go down there. Well, maybe not that low, but I think we're going to retest this.
I mean, the trouble is 3 or 4 weeks it's like an eon these times. It could do it in a day, do it in an hour. It's crazy, isn't it?
It could do.
That's why it's so hard right now.
Yeah. But I just think if we don't see a follow through, I think we're going to roll over.
Got you.
Yeah. I think we'll retest this low.
I think the lows, but then the lows mean nothing because, with that big drop and, that was corrected in a couple of weeks, so it's very difficult to long-term trade.
Yeah, it's a crazy market, man.
I mean, long-term trade, no, you just shut your eyes and hold on, just don't sell. But yeah, it's a short-term trade, I guess.
Yeah.
It's wild. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, I love volatility. But it's, it's very interesting time.
Yeah. We're at an interesting time in history, obviously, with Trump. We're at an interesting time in history. And beyond that, we're at an interesting time with the markets. I don't think and I could be wrong because, I've been doing this for 20 years, but I can't remember many times in the last 20 years where SPX has moved like this.
No.
These are insane movements. Maybe in 2008 we got some crazy swings. Maybe in like 2020 around COVID we got some crazy swings.
Sure, yeah.
But those were like very, very brief periods. This just feels different. Something feels different about the markets.
I think you're exactly right. It does feel different, and it's almost like anything's possible, and then almost like for me, once the kind of the fairground ride stops, it just all collapses. That's how I feel right now because it's all very much American, built on Trump and his promises, his trade deals, his tariffs. It's kind of like there's not a lot of substance behind it yet, or maybe there is. Who knows? And it kind of like it's kind of like if it doesn't work, the only way is down. The only way. I mean, that's I guess that's conversation for another day. I guess.
But you know what's funny? I just brought up this chart again. I just like to find these weird patterns in the market, and I don't necessarily trade them. They don't influence my decision making really, but I just kind of like it's fun. Um, I found this weird pattern just looking at my charts because I was thinking back to 2018, and I was like, this whole trade war thing has happened before, right? So
Yep.
back in
Okay.
2018, from Trump's first executive order, I think this needs to be shifted to there. From Trump's first executive order to the bottom of this trade war dump was 70 days. Like, so his first executive order was here. 70
Yep.
days later was yeah, I think it was there. It was 70 days later was the bottom, and then we went up from there, right?
Yep.
And then if you look at today, oops, uh, this was also, and I don't have this drawn out properly because I since deleted it, but his first executive order relating to tariffs was somewhere around here. 70 days later, again, exactly 70 days, this whole tariff thing just got wrapped up and ended, and we started pumping again.
Sure.
Again,
Okay.
like, this doesn't actually mean anything. It's just funny how this whole tariff thing with Trump lasted exactly 70 days in 2018, exactly 70 days. Well, not exactly 71, 72 days, something like that, but close enough.
Okay. Okay.
What's that about? It's interesting stuff.
I mean, listen, there's patterns in everything. I totally believe there's patterns in everything. But that's just the markets. But then, can you trade the patterns? There's made something too. I say, you found that interesting, but if it didn't affect your trades, then it's something nice to look at, isn't it? Nice for educational purposes.
Yeah, well, next time Trump's president, if he starts a trade war, then we'll know that it only lasts 70 days and we can trade that
71
pattern.
days, and then we
Yeah.
know exactly what to do, mate. Yeah. Well, he can have a third term, mate. Who knows?
He probably
Nothing's
could.
off the cards. Nothing's
Yeah.
off the cards, is it? We could talk all night because you're an interesting guy, and that's been really kind of interesting to go through the kind of crypto stuff. But I think we're gonna probably have to call it time. So, anything else you want to kind of like throw in before we leave?
No, not really. Check out the channel, Lab of Crypto, and check out our
Yep.
Discord, the Lab of Crypto Discord. I'm assuming the links will be below this video,
Oh, of
so
course.
check it out. Yeah, but that's everything, man. Really nice to talk to you, Steve, and yeah, I'll see you guys
Mate,
later.
it was an absolute pleasure, and thanks. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Nick. That was really really enjoyable. So yeah, thanks everyone watching, and do click on the Trading Battle like and subscribe. But yeah, a masterclass, mate, a masterclass. After my own
Awesome.
heart. Been a pleasure.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Take it easy. Speak to you soon, mate. Bye bye.